Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, my name is Dominic and I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Not News, the Nerd News Show. Let's get into the news, shall we? First up on the show, George R.R. Martin, author of the A Song of Ice and Fire novels that were adapted into the HBO mega hit series Game of Thrones, has announced that another of his long-running series will be making its way to a television set near you. That's right, the superhero science fiction anthology series Wildcards has been acquired by Universal Cable Productions. Now, for those of you who don't know, Wildcards is a shared universe of superhero stories featuring the contributions of a collection of 30 authors and edited by George R.R. Martin and Melinda Snodgrass. The series' premise is based on an alternate history version of a post-World War II United States in which an alien virus released over the skies of Manhattan spreads across the world, infecting everybody. In this world, 90% of all people die horribly. However, of those who remain, the majority are transformed into deformed and twisted creatures known as Jokers, whilst a small minority are granted incredible superpowers and become known as Aces. Now, the cool thing about the Wildcards universe is that the entire thing grew out of a long-running campaign of the popular Superworld role-playing game in which Martin himself was the games master and many of the original authors of the anthologies were participants. Martin released a post on his live journal describing the acquisition and the series itself, in which he says, "Wildcards is a series of books, graphic novels, games, but most of all it is a universe, as large and diverse and exciting as the comic book universes of Marvel and DC, though somewhat grittier and considerably more realistic and more consistent, with an enormous cast of characters both major and minor. There are thousands of stories to be told in the world of Wildcards, and Gregory and Melinda and UPC hope to be able to tell many of them." Now, for those of you worried that Martin is again procrastinating whilst we wait impatiently for the release of The Winds of Winter, fear not, for the prolific author goes on to say, "I won't be working on a series myself. My own development deal is exclusive to HBO, and I am writing The Winds of Winter, as I believe most of you will recall. But I have every confidence in Melinda Snodgrass and Gregory Novak. They know and love the Wildcards universe almost as well as I do, and I think they will do a terrific job. Wish them luck." Now, Wildcards hasn't yet begun development, so there's absolutely no word on the direction of the series, cast, or any kind of release date or anything like that, but I'll be sure to let you know as soon as I hear anything. Next up on the show, actress Daisy Ridley, best known for her portrayal as Rey in Star Wars Episode 7 The Force Awakens, has signed on to helm yet another epic science fiction franchise. Now, the franchise is an upcoming adaptation of the Chaos Walking series of novels by author Patrick Ness. I must admit, I haven't read these books, although I had heard of them. What put me off was the fact that they were yet another series of young adult novels wherein young people strive to survive in a dystopian future and there's a conspiracy and yada yada yada. We've seen it all before. However, upon doing a bit of research, it seems that I may have been doing the series a disservice in my assumption, as Patrick Ness's work has been lauded for the handling of its themes, which range from gender politics to the morality of war. The series won the 2008 Guardian Award among a whole host of others, pretty much dominating the scene when it comes to YA novels and critical acclaim. So while I'm still hesitant, especially considering that it's Lionsgate making the movie, and this all smells a bit like they just want another Hunger Games type franchise now that that story is over, but despite that, I'm willing to give this a chance and hope it doesn't just turn out to be another Divergent. I also absolutely love Daisy Ridley, so I'm kind of rooting for her to succeed in whatever she does. The first book in the series is called The Knife of Never Letting Go, a pretty terrible title if you ask me, and one I doubt that the studio will use, but I've bought the novel nonetheless, and I'm hoping it turns out to be a read with great potential for a movie. And that's it for this episode of Not News. Thank you all so much for watching. Please do hit that like button down below if you enjoyed the show, as it really does help the channel to grow. And please also subscribe to the channel for more content. Thank you again for watching. I've been Dominic, and I'll see you next time.